Welcome back into the Viking Central podcast. Free agency is getting closer and closer as we speak. There's moves being made, especially in the last couple of days here. Not so much by the Vikings; they did make one move that we will talk about, but some other teams are making a lot of moves. There's some releases. There's some trade talk going on. What's going to happen with Sam Darnold? Of course, that's the big talker that's making all of the Vikings community pretty anxious. But I'm here with Austin today. How are we doing, Austin?
Doing pretty good. Just getting excited here. We're getting closer to that free agent deadline.
Yes, we are. It's coming. It's really coming. So tampering starts at 11 Central Time on Monday, which usually a majority of the deals they'll happen before Wednesday when it officially opens. But yeah, we're getting closer and closer. There's some speculation regarding Sam Darnold we're going to talk about here as well. Couple cuts that we're going to talk about and that maybe might fit the Vikings, and then we'll talk about Theo Jackson's new contract he got with Minnesota. So before we do hop into the video, I do want to shout out our sponsor real quick, and that is Stead Foods. Check out Stead Foods, a Minnesota-based candy company specialized in delicious chocolate bars. They have something for everyone, and of course, my personal favorite, caramel crack, will keep you coming back for more. It is just super delicious. Use code VC10 for 10% off and use the link on the screen or in the description. Again, use code VC10 for 10% off and use the link on the screen or in the description. All right, that was Stead Foods. We're doing some work with them. We're actually going to make a JJ McCarthy bar, which will be pretty cool. It'll be like custom, like design with JJ McCarthy on the wrapper and everything like that. And we haven't really decided what the flavor is going to be, but it's going to be pretty cool. We'll keep you guys updated on that. They're a Minnesota-based company. Their owner's a huge Vikings fan. Going to be a lot of fun working with them. So Stead Foods, I appreciate you. Go check them out. Use code VC10. You can see the link down there scrolling across the screen. All right. Should we start with just the Sam Darnold kind of tidbit we got this morning? Does that work for you, Austin?
Yeah, I think that should be perfect.
All right. So Adam Schefter was on K-Fan with Paul Allen this morning. Just talking about Sam Darnold a little bit. And he first asked, like, where do you think Sam Darnold's going to play in 2025? And he's like, I don't even know if Sam Darnold knows where he's going to play coming into the new year here. And they asked, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's like the likelihood that Darnold comes back to Minnesota? And he just flat out said not high. So who knows what that is? Is that a 5 or a 6, or is that a 2 or a 3? So we can kind of, of course, that's reporter talk. He doesn't want to give you like a for sure number, so because he doesn't want to be wrong. But not high. That's kind of changed from the tone that he had earlier in the week, where he thought Sam was going to come back to the Vikings. So I don't know if there's been some more talk here in the last day or so, where the Vikings have just flat out said, we're going to go with JJ McCarthy, or there's a team kind of creeping in on Sam Darnold. What do you kind of think of that new information we got from Schefter?
Yeah, in terms of the Vikings, I think that's a pretty smart move because I think everyone knows here that Sam Darnold's going to require a lot of money.
Yeah.
And from the sounds of it, it sounds like the Raiders are really keened in on Sam Darnold, but I would also think that maybe this could be something to do with the Giants. The Giants they have jobs on the line over there. I think they're going to want to win now, and I think there are a few more dominoes I think that do need to fall before we know about Sam, because I think teams like the Giants might be more interested in Russell Wilson.
Sure.
But I guess we'll have to see, and then plus another reunion with Pete Carroll in Vegas.
Yeah. There's a lot of quarterback dominoes to fall yet. There's not a lot of huge names, but there's a lot of spots open, in all these franchises for who's going to be their starting quarterback. And the Giants do make sense to me, but I always come back to, like, does he want to go back to New York? But I don't believe the Aaron Rodgers to the Giants team at all, to be honest with you.
No.
Why would Daboll and their GM over there attach their careers to Aaron Rodgers when he just got that whole staff fired with the Jets? Like, Salah's gone. The Jets GM's gone because the Aaron Rodgers pathway did not work out. So I don't know if Daboll and them would want to attach Aaron Rodgers to them because their jobs are on the line. I think the Raiders do make the most sense, just because Pete Carroll, it's his first year, and he's done good with quarterbacks in the past. And I think Chip Kelly is an okay fit. I don't know if it's a super great fit. We talked about this a little bit before. Like, he runs a pretty high-speed offense. at the same time, like, is that going to be too much for Sam Darnold, or is that going to allow him not to just think and just go play football? You know, it can go either way. But a sleeper is the Titans, or I think Tennessee Titans. Like, what are they going to do with the first pick? If they trade out, I think Sam's going to be there. And there was an ESPN report with the Titans lead reporter and then someone else with an ESPN. But they said if the price tag was around $30 million, that they'd be really interested in Sam Darnold. And I think that's probably where it's going to land, maybe a little bit more than that. But who knows how hot his market is right now. But like, if you had to put money on it, where do you think Sam is going to be like next week?
I would say the Giants.
The Giants.
It's like you said. I don't think Rodgers is a good fit there in New York, and they need to figure something out. And I think Russell Wilson's going to demand too much money.
Yeah.
So but I do like the Tennessee Titans. I think that would be a pretty good fit for him. Yeah. Kind of get a new start with a new coach, and then try to build that rapport down there in Tennessee. And they have a lot of money that they could work with too. So I think they could in a few years build a good team around Sam Darnold as well.
I think the Giants and the Titans are the best fit for Darnold because they both have legitimate number one wide receivers. You got Malik Neighbors in New York, and then you got Calvin Ridley down in Tennessee. And you saw what Darnold did with Jefferson. I know neither of those guys are probably on Kevin O'Connell's level, but Daboll's a damn good offensive mind, and I think he'd do really well with Sam Darnold. Just the big arm talent. Does struggle with accuracy a little bit, but he's able to get the football out. And I think him and Neighbors would be really good. It's just, does he want to go back to New York? But we'll see. Those answers are going to be answered here shortly. But it's looking more like now maybe it's probably not the Vikings anymore, which I feel like a majority of the fan base do want to move on with JJ McCarthy. So I'm guessing you're on that same spectrum there.
Well, I basically am, but I kind of do believe that. I do believe that competition brings out better in players. So I think if we were to bring Sam Darnold back, I think that actually could be good for JJ McCarthy.
Yep.
And I'm kind of going to say something a little controversial. I bet you a lot of the fan base is going to disagree with here. If we do bring Darnold back, I would want a 2-year deal just in case Darnold did win the job throughout the entire season. We are able to trade him then because we have control of him.
Yep.
Because that being said, if he has the job the whole season, that means he had another great season, and that just means we're going to get good draft capital back for him in the next season in a trade, possibly.
For sure. And even if you do get a 2-year deal on him and say McCarthy wins the competition, you could still trade him before the season probably because there's going to be an injury. There's going to be a QB needy team. And you can just say McCarthy flat out won the job. There's nothing Darnold did wrong. It's just McCarthy was just better. And
especially with everyone knowing how high we are on JJ McCarthy. Yeah,
sure.
Exactly.
So I could see that happening, but I just find it hard to believe that there's not going to be a hotter market where Sam knows he's going to be the guy with like a Giants or a Tennessee. And I saw some interesting speculation here as well. Like Pete Carroll and the Geno Smith, like do the Raiders, and there was a report that the Raiders want to like trade for a current starting quarterback. Could like the Raiders trade for Geno Smith, and that'll open up another spot with Seattle. Like, could Sam go into Seattle and be an option? That could be another spot. And I know this is all speculation and all rumors. That's how it's going to be for the next few days. But that's another wrinkle that could be added to this as well. But who knows if it's true or not. So, all right. So a couple releases here this morning. The big one was probably Jonathan Allen with the Commanders. I know a lot of Vikings fans would love to have Jonathan Allen. He's 31 years old now, I believe. So he's not like in his prime of his career, but he's better than what we have, and he can get after the passer a little bit. And then Shaq Mason, right when we're going to start recording this, Houston starting guard from last year, started 15 games, was pretty solid. He's also 31 years old, but he's a guy that could come in and protect J.J. McCarthy, whoever the quarterback is. Do either of those names kind of get you excited at all?
I think the Jonathan Allen one really gets me excited. I think the defensive tackle has been an issue here for a while. We really haven't been able to dominate the inside of the defensive line for a while. And I think we bring in a guy like Jonathan Allen. He has the experience. He's been on good teams. He made a run last year with the Commanders. I think you bring in a guy like that, that would be a good cultural fit and a schematic fit too for Flores.
For sure. And I thought there was some rumors going on about like Jonathan Allen would love it in Minnesota. That's kind of what I've heard. I think Doogie said that on Score North as well. Like he would love to be in Minnesota. It's just is the interest reciprocated by the Vikings? I don't know why it wouldn't be, because I think he would be a really good fit here. Um, so that'd be a great get. But I don't know if they're looking for a little bit more bigger fish like a Milton Williams. But like at the same time, like he's gonna be like probably like a third of the price damn near. He is a little bit older, but Milton Williams is probably getting like 22, $23 million a year, and he was a rotation piece with Philadelphia. I think he's gonna be a great player, but they're just got to weigh the benefits there a little bit. Like, do you want to spend that much more money on Williams, or do you just want to go get a guy like Jonathan Allen? Like, if you had to decide between the two, what route would you kind of go?
It's kind of tough for me, but I'd go with Milton just because we might be able to get more years out of him. He'd be a more long-term solution rather than you go get Allen, and that might be only the solution for the next 2 to 3 years.
Sure.
But at the same time, you do that, then you could find his replacement in the draft or something like that. I honestly like both. I would love both players, but yeah, like I said, you get a guy longer term. I think that would be better off for the team and build continuity with the players moving forward.
Yeah, and with Jonathan Allen, you know what his ceiling is. Like, you know what type of player he is. Like, what would Milton Williams look like in a full-time role? Like, he could maybe not be as good, but like if he hits, he could be like one of the better like defensive tackles in the entire league. So like you want to risk that? I feel like I would, because if it's a hit, I trust Brian Flores to get the most out of him. Like, you can't pass that up if that's an option, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. You like you said, he wasn't a full-time player in Philadelphia.
Yep.
Then the other piece with it is he knows how to win. He just won the Super Bowl. I mean,
For sure.
something like that I think would be a great thing to bring into Minnesota and be able to show us what needs to be done in practice and everything like that.
For sure. And he wasn't just part of the Super Bowl winning team. Like, he balled out in the Super Bowl. Like, if he plays like that when you need him to show out the most, like, bringing a guy like that, and obviously the Vikings have struggled in big games. So if you can get a guy that will play the best when you need him to, I think that'd be huge. Shaq Mason, any interest there at all? It's not super exciting, but
I mean, I would say that's our biggest need on the team is our interior offensive line. So I think in terms of interest, I think there's a lot of interest, but I think there's a lot of players out there that I would like to see. I know we were talking a little about it beforehand. I kind of lean more on the side of center than guard. So in my opinion, my favorite piece would be Drew Dahlman from the Falcons. I think that would be a better fit.
I like it.
But I mean, who's to say we can't do both?
Yeah. And Austin's a big time to move on from Garrett Bradbury guy. which makes a lot of sense. I mean, we've had this talk for the last 2 or 3 off seasons. Like, are we gonna move on from Garrett Bradbury? And it just hasn't happened. He's in the final year of his deal. So it's gonna be interesting to see if, like, okay, let's just run it back one more year. Or
it also saves $3.5 million.
Exactly. If he's got $3.5 million off the books, which would be nice. Just get another. You could get that's another, depth piece if you need it, just to add to all this cap space already. But yeah, if there's some interest like a Drew Dahlman, yeah, I feel like that's the way to go. But I saw there was a report, like, if he gets like upwards of $20 million, then I'm good.
Yeah.
But if he's like a $14 million guy, like 13, 14, I'm all for it. So I think that'd be a great fit. Shaq Mason, I'm a fan. He was rock solid guard. But I'm looking for like a for sure upgrade for once. Like, give me someone who's going to for sure upgrade the line, not just make it okay. And I think Shaq Mason doesn't like make it so like a lot better. I'm looking for that guy that's going to take it to the next level.
Yeah, I agree. And I think another guy that on the Vikings radar is Will Fries from the Colts. I think that would be another guard piece that I would rather have too. I think I like his first step a lot. I think he's going to improve the run game a lot more, which could be important. Especially if we do go the route of a young running back in the draft. It might be important to have a good offensive line to be able to the run block, but then at the same time, he's really good in the pass block too. So I think he would be my top guard piece for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's the route they're going to go. Like the first free agency signing for the Vikings, like I feel on Monday, it's either going to be Will Fries or Patrick McCarry from the Ravens. I think it's going to be one of those guys because they just want to get a guard right off the bat. I could also see them going defensive tackle right off the bat too. It's going to be one. I guarantee it's going to be one of the other. But one of those guys I think is probably going to be the name right away off the board. But who knows? Quasi might throw us a curveball. Who knows? So, all right, let's talk a little bit Theo Jackson and his contract extension. So, I know that it sounded like it was a 2-year deal, but I think it was either Tom Pelissero or Ben Gosling came and said it was actually a 3-year deal through 2027. $12.6 million. First 2 years are fully guaranteed. It's pretty good money. I wouldn't say it's for a backup safety. It's kind of similar to the Josh Metellus deal from a couple off seasons ago. Do you think this kind of signals the end of Cam Bynum? I know we haven't really heard much about Harrison Smith either. I think there's like a 90% chance he comes back for one more year. But what do you kind of think this signing signals?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like you brought up. It's going to mean that we're going to lose one of our 2 safeties. But, I mean, and like you said, it sounds like Harrison Smith is going to come back. We haven't heard reports of him thinking about retiring or going anywhere else. And I think Cam Bynum's going to be more expensive.
For sure.
And to be honest with you, I think Theo Jackson is really good. He does a really good job of when he came in to fill in for Cam Bynum or Harrison Smith, he did a really good job of covering the field. He looks like he moves the ball fast, and from the film I've watched, and plus I really do trust Flores quite a bit. And if he's going to put his trust in the Theo like this, then I feel like I have to trust him as well. And I think that means we're going to move on from Cam Bynum, unfortunately.
I think so too. Kind of think that's what it's saying. I think Cam's going to have a pretty damn good market, and it's just going to get priced out. And I think the front office kind of sees that happening as well. Byron Murphy is going to be another one. I think the closer it gets to Monday, like the more likely it's he's gone. I feel like if they're going to get a contract extension done with him, it's going to happen this weekend. Yeah. But say if nothing happens and Monday comes around, I think he's gone because people are going to pay damn near $20 million or more for Byron Murphy Jr. He's one of the better corners on the market.
Yeah, and I would personally rather have Byron Murphy than Cam Bynum as well. Sure. So I was really hoping to see, because when he posted that montage on Instagram, I really thought that meant we had something in the works with him. But
yeah, and usually we would have heard something, I feel like.
Yeah.
But it could happen this weekend still. I know Murphy loves it here. So like if he's able to take a little bit of a team-friendly deal, I think he would. But if he's just priced out so much where it's not even a choice, that's really unfortunate because you don't want to lose Cam Bynum and Byron Murphy Jr., but it might happen, unfortunately. But at the same time, you just get to use that money on some other players. So say Byron Murphy does move on to a different team. What are some other cornerbacks that you'd be happy for the Vikings to kind of go after in free agency?
Well, I just want to bring up that Blackman coming back, and he looks good. I think that's going to be a good fill within position. But I mean, I think the obvious piece here is DJ Reed from the Jets. Sure. He might be a little expensive, but I mean, from what we've seen, he looks like the real deal, and I think he would fill a really good spot for us. But then I think of like the more of the route that the Vikings and Quasi like to go, they're going to try to find someone on the cheaper end that has high upside. And I think that's Christian Fulton with the Chargers. I think that might be a good cheap pickup for the Vikings that could have a similar season. And I think that would be very big for the Vikings.
For sure. I could see that happening as well. Christian Fulton, I think there'd be some for sure interest there. DJ Reed is the obvious one. He's very sticky in coverage, which I would really like. He's just always around the football. He does draw some penalties that way as well. But like, I'm sick of seeing our corners like always like 5-6 feet away from the football, and I feel like DJ Reed's always there. Like he's always next to the football, always next to the receiver, which I would love to have. Christian Fulton's a good one. I saw there was a report like Carlton Davis. There would be some interest there, where he's kind of a middle of the line corner. I think his projected AAV was like $12 million a year. So that wouldn't be as much as Byron Murphy, but I'm not a super big Carlton Davis guy. I think he's good, but I think there's better options out there. Um, and there's guys like Paulson Adebo and Asante Samuel Jr. coming off an injury. I think Asante Samuel Jr. could be an option. It's another Kwesi, like he was a kind of highly sought after guy, but he's also going to get paid quite a bit of money. The market's going to be up there for him as well. So if Byron Murphy gets re-signed, we don't. This isn't even a conversation because, I mean, I think they'll sign another corner, but not like a top end. I think like if they go Byron Murphy, I could see them going after like a Christian Fulton, even if they get Byron Murphy back. So that'd be interesting there as well. Just trying to think of what else we could talk about. Anything else you want to talk about, Asta?
Well, I know this is kind of out of the realm of possibilities here, but it's just kind of cool to think about. Javon Holland from the Dolphins kind of has ties there with Flores. I think obviously not realistic, but if the Vikings could pull something off to pull him in, that would be huge. I think that would help our secondary immensely.
Oh yeah, I would love Javon Holland in this in this defense. If they could make it work, like okay, say you're not getting Cam Bynum back, and say you're not getting Byron Murphy Jr. back. I feel like that almost makes it a little bit more of a possibility that Javon Holland does come here because he's got that versatility. He's got the knowledge about like a Brian Flores defense. He'd be amazing in this defense. That's a great one, and maybe the possibility isn't super high, but maybe it's more likely than we think. So that's a great name. Would really love that. We talked about this a little bit on one of our last pods, but going back to like the wide receiver three position, are you good on Jalen Nailor, or are you looking to upgrade?
I wouldn't hate Jalen Nailor coming back, but it's like you were saying in previous podcast where he is on a contract year, so he's going to have to step up his game to get another contract. But I mean, I would like this. I would like to monitor the situation in LA, see what happens with Cooper Kupp. I mean, he might be an expensive wide receiver 3, but I mean, in terms of see what you got, and like I've said earlier, he has a Super Bowl champion. He was the MVP of a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I think that would be a very big pickup for us. I think he would help everything out. But maybe more on the realistic side, I think a guy like Mike Williams would be a good pickup as well. I think he might be a lot cheaper, but it'll be fun to see the route because it sounds like that we're going to go and try to get a wide receiver 3.
Yeah. I don't feel like it's going to be like a target right away at the beginning of free agency. But I think, like you said, I think they're looking to upgrade it. I feel like Jalen Nailor's more of a wide receiver 4 type of guy. I trust him as wide receiver 3, but especially for moving on to like JJ McCarthy, just get another veteran receiver there, which could be like a Cooper Kupp or something like that. Mike Williams is a good one, more of a possession type wide receiver, good in the red zone, which we talked about. Like we want someone that's going to cash in those red zone opportunities. So yeah, I think upgrading the wide receiver 3 is on the list. It's just not super high on the list. Not as exciting, but say we do roll JJ McCarthy. Who do you want backing him up in 2025? Kirk Cousins?
Oh, that would be hilarious. Yeah, no, I've actually had that thought. I don't know if Kirk's going to try to get a starting spot somewhere though, so I don't think that's fully realistic. I don't think he's going to go that route again, but I think Gardner Minshew would be a really cool piece. He has the experience as well. Say something happens or something happens where JJ is not fully healthy. I think Minshew could step in and win a couple football games for the Vikings, and he also has the experience to help kind of give pointers to JJ, help him out, trying to lead him the right way.
Yeah, I would love the Gardner Minshew, to be honest with you, to be with the Vikings. Got that gunslinger mentality a little bit, kind of like Nick Mullins a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think maybe a little bit higher upside. Maybe they'll just go with the continuity with Nick Mullins, just bring him back again. But I feel like if they do roll JJ, I know they like Daniel Jones, but like I don't want to throw $15 million at a backup quarterback. I'm just not there. Like you can get Gardner Minshew for probably like $4 or $5 million on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
I feel like that would do it. And like you said, if JJ is not ready for a couple games right off the bat, or if he gets nicked up, Gardner can win you a couple games. It's not an issue, and he's a super smart guy, and good for the locker room. I think too. I think people really would like having Gardner Minshew around. So I really like that one, for sure. I think, like I said, I think Daniel Jones is maybe going to get priced out a little bit. I feel like he could go compete somewhere else, but who knows? It's another one of those situations, like what's going to happen. We just don't know quite yet. Yeah, good stuff, man. I know you wanted to talk about a little bit about Dalton Reisner a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think the majority of fan base here in Minnesota has the problem with Dalton Reisner, but I really do think he got the raw end of the deal here. It took forever to get a deal to bring him in. He wasn't at training camp. And I think that led to an injury to where he wasn't his full self. And like I said, I think Garrett Bradbury being the center with him over there did not help Dalton in the run game, because obviously his problem wasn't in the pass game. I think having a strong center next to Dalton Reisner would be a good piece. And Reisner's going to be a lot cheaper than a lot of these guards. So I think if we can go center and then go get Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State, I think that could be a good way to fix our interior offensive line.
Yeah. Either way, just build up those trenches, Quasey. You just got to do it. Offensive line, defensive line. We've seen that's what it takes. We've been saying it for the last couple of years, and it's just been patchwork after patchwork. Get some dogs in there. We need it. But we could be hopping on any time here. If some breaking news happens and me and Austin are available, we'll hop right back on and talk about it a little bit. Probably going to be a little bit more of next week, but something big could happen. If it's an extension for Byron Murphy Jr. This weekend or something, maybe we'll hop on and talk about a little bit. Or if there's a report that Sam Darnold is for sure gone, or for some reason he does re-sign for a year or two deal, we'll talk about that as well. But good stuff, Austin. Free agency period is upon us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you guys soon.